Happy Sabbath, everybody. So, let's get right into it. Today, the Lord has some interesting things for me to say to you. All right. So, when we were attending, and it wasn't on a regular basis, I can tell you that, but we were attending the New Westminster Church. The one time we had gone there, we had arrived a bit late, and it was into the sermon already, so we were waiting outside in the, I guess you could call it the lobby area. And then all of a sudden we noticed this old man with a white beard sitting on a chair in the lobby. He wasn't in the pews. And so me and my mother went over to talk to him, and we sat by him, and he said, "Hi, how are you?" What our names were, and he gave us his name. We can't remember what his name was, but the thing about it is, we asked him, well, what has been your experience in this church? He didn't look very happy at all. He looked very, very upset. And he said, they ghosted me the last time. They ghosted me. And then we asked him a few more questions, can't remember what they were, and then he said, I'm never coming back here again. And as far as I know, he never did. And I would not be shocked to hear that, because obviously many, many, many situations like that occur. He wasn't being made to feel welcome. Nobody was talking to the guy. He was sitting out there all by himself while they were doing all their thing. What do you think the church is set up for exactly? I would like to know what a church is set up for if it's not to help the poor and the less fortunate. Because he was definitely poor, right? And less fortunate. If they're having a hard time, why not make them feel more special than ever? Why not, offer for him to sit with you in the pews, and maybe, nobody would take him in, take him home, or even put him up for a night. They've got multi-millions of dollars and they can't put up the poor for a night in a motel. They can't do anything. So exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about corruption. The money is not spent where it's supposed to be spent. That's for sure. But that's not what I wanted to talk to you. I just was given that little tidbit by God just now to show you an example of how things are done in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So anyway, our church is a bit different. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is, we do not need a multi-million-dollar building to worship Jesus Christ. That's not what we need. We don't need to save up enough money, see if we can put together a multi-million-dollar church to see if we can, make it good enough for Jesus. Jesus doesn't need that building. That's ridiculous. Did Jesus have a multi-million-dollar church in the times of old? Of course he didn't. This is pure corruption, folks. Pure corruption. You know what the church is going to be for us in the Reformed SDA Church? Reformed Seventh-day Adventist Church? The wilderness is going to be our church. We are going to be under the beautiful, pristine air of the wilderness. We're going to be all together when times get tough, and it's already getting tough. So pretty soon we'll be in the wilderness, having to flee, as Ellen White has predicted and the Bible predicted. So this is what's going to happen, and basically the wilderness is going to be our church. So we all need to get ready for the time when we're going to be banding together. We were not going to have access to a multi-million-dollar building in those days. We don't need the multi-million-dollar buildings now. So again, we're going to be in the wilderness with the trees, the mountains, the grass, little lakes, and worshiping Jesus that way. And just like Jesus worshiped in the wilderness, in nature, that's what I was trying to say, in nature. That's how things are worshipped in the Old Testament, the New Testament. So anyway, have a good Sabbath, guys.